Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I just got into a heated debate with my roommate about eating disorders, and he wants to lose weight, but his attitude toward it, he feels like he's depriving himself of stuff when he wants to lose weight. I never view it like that. I view it like I'm cleansing myself of stuff that I don't need to be putting into my body. But he and I got into a disagreement because he claims that he loves food, and he feels like there's a gap in his life when there's no food. And I disagree with him. I see food as a means to an end. If I could go about my life without eating and I wouldn't die from it, oh my God, think about that. I'd have more time, I'd have more freedom. I can't tell you how many times I want to be doing something, but the need to eat gets in the way, right? So, for example, traveling is a very good example of that, right? Last year, I drove to Kerrville, Texas to go see a solar eclipse. If my body didn't need food during that trip would have looked very differently from both a practical point of view and from a social point of view as well, right? Let's face it, eating is not a very clean subject, right? So we were talking about if food could be replaced by a pill. He claims that he wouldn't even think about it. I said, what if the pill costs like nothing? Would you not replace it with a pill and have more money for other stuff? He's like, why would I enjoy other stuff? I enjoy my food. See, I never see it that way. Food is a means to an end, right? If anything, it often gets in the way of things I want to be doing. It costs money, takes time to eat, it creates a burden. Right, so for example, I'm living with a couple of roommates, but you know what? My possible living situations would expand a lot if I didn't have to eat, right? So, for example, there were many times in my life where I lived out of my car, and usually the thing that gets in the way is that I got to think about where to eat, where I can cook meals and all that. If I didn't have to think about that, the car living would be much more comfortable. Now, not that I would want to live in the car, but you get the idea, right? It's a means to an end. That's how I want you to think about your food, right? Now, where food really bothers me is when it starts to intersect with other challenges in my life. What do I mean by that? Well, I teach at a community college, and there are times where the schedule does not bode well with various eating patterns that I would like to have, right? I love intermittent fasting. I haven't done a good fast in a long time, in large part because my work kind of pigeonholes when and where I can eat, and I have to think ahead of time for it to work. Or you guys have been following, there are certain foods that I like to be eating because they increase my celery has a chemical that makes guys smell attractive to girls, and then there are a few hacks like that. Fasting also helps in some regard too. And so where it becomes really tricky is when I have to balance eating disorders with those things and work schedules and my dating life and my eating disorder. When those three things have to be balanced against each other, it makes you wish that all that could be replaced by a pill, right? And traveling, right? When constraints like that. But my roommate refuses to see that. He thinks that every time he's not putting something in his mouth, he's giving something up. And whereas I think of it as I'm cleansing myself of having this one burden in my life, right? The fact that I don't drink soda, I never gave up soda. I freed myself from the burden, the cost, the time, the unhealthiness, the future medical bills. I freed myself from soda. I never quit drinking soda, right? You don't quit smoking. You don't quit drinking. You don't quit drugs. You free yourself from them, right? You free yourself from unhealthy habits. You free yourself from toxic relationships with people, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.